In one of the recent emails I received, somebody was telling me how he had noticed how my technique had changed over the years, and was asking me for advice on how to change the approach of his sessions. So he was asking me, what is it, Antonio, that changed in you, or what is it that you learned that allow you to change the approach of your sessions? Well, if you take a look at my videos, I started posting videos back in 2015. You will see my first videos, you will see that my energy is different, my language is different, even my body movement, my voice is different during those sessions. With the time, as I was getting more experience, I was learning other techniques, as I was experiencing things through my clients, my technique was changing, my style was changing, my energy was changing, I was changing, right? So, but what really changed the approach in my sessions? I'm just going to mention the two techniques that impacted my technique, my style. One of them is introspective hypnosis, which I learned from my teacher, Aurelio Mejia. When I learned from him, he was not teaching classes of introspective hypnosis. The only way to learn from him was by shadowing him, right? So over the years, I incorporated a few techniques on my own, and as my teacher said, you will make this technique yours anyway. I incorporated some other techniques as I was getting experience. But another technique that also impacted my style or the approach that I have in my sessions is past life therapy. Actually, I learned it as terapia de vidas pasadas, past life therapy, from my teacher, Jose Luis Cabuli. And that also gave me additional tools on how to work with the soul, because this is what we do in our sessions. Some techniques focus on the mind, but introspective hypnosis and past life therapy focus on the soul. What really made the difference in my sessions? What really changed the approach in my sessions? Learning about spirituality. And I'm not talking about religion. My approach is not based on any religion, but understanding spirituality is understanding how our soul, our spirit works. What happens during the reincarnation? What happens during the time in the womb? What happens when we go in life? What happens when somebody commits suicide? And I can keep going on and on. What happens when the spirit gets lost? What happens when a lost soul attaches to you? All of those things, and even more, is shared in the spiritualist doctrine from, actually Allan Kardec was the coder. That was in alignment with what I was already doing. I was kind of doing that with introspective hypnosis and past life therapy. But when I started reading about that, it was the confirmation of what I was doing. So what is my advice for people practicing hypnosis? Don't just learn a technique. A technique is like learning how to use a pen. And what you're going to do with this pen, it will depend on what you have here and what you have in your heart. Whatever you write is going to come from there. This is just a pen. Any technique that you learn is just a tool. But what are you going to do with that tool? If you don't know how the soul works, how are you going to guide somebody in a past life? How are you going to guide somebody in the womb? How would you understand, for example, how a person goes into a trance without an induction? How would you understand that somebody can be in two places at the same time, here and now in our office, and in that experience where there's a traumatic experience that is still pending? We need to learn about this. And sometimes I see people learning techniques, and they're learning how to ask questions. I mean, if I say let's say I'm a computer technician, I'm not going to fix a computer by asking questions. Or I'm not going to help my client troubleshoot this by just asking questions. What happens when you press this key? And what happens when you press this other key? And what happens when you look at the monitor? Describe to me what you're seeing. Describe to me what you feel when you press this key. Is that useful? Maybe. Wouldn't it be a good idea if I first understand how the computer works what is a motherboard, what is a hard drive, what is a RAM, the memory, right? How all that works. In case something doesn't happen, I need to understand, okay, there is something that is not connecting here, and this is why this computer is having this error. Wouldn't it be a good idea to understand how the computer works first, instead of just asking questions to our client to see what is happening? The same thing is with hypnosis, and in case you want to do any of these type of sessions, right? In case you want to work with the soul, you need to understand how the soul works. It's not just about asking questions. It's not about just allowing the client to do whatever they want in a session or go to whatever they want. Once you understand how the soul works, you will be able to guide the clients. In my classes in introspective hypnosis, I already incorporated in introspective hypnosis, and past life therapy is already there, but in introspective hypnosis, I already incorporated teachings of spirituality. My class has changed. Whoever took the class back in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21 had a different experience than the ones taking the class now. Every class is different. I keep evolving, the technique keeps evolving, the knowledge keeps evolving, the way I share this in a class and teach this in a class is evolving and has changed. And I'm incorporating now this knowledge of spirituality in what I'm teaching. I'm transmitting this to people learning hypnosis. It's not just about learning the technique. Another thing that you should be aware of is what is your motivation to learn hypnosis? Some people will say, well, I want to make a living out of this. And that's fair, because we need to pay bills, we need to pay for electricity, we need to pay for the internet, and you have a mortgage. It's okay. But is that your only motivation? People saying, oh, I'm going to learn this because I can make this much money. If that is your only motivation, let me tell you, it is not going to work. For this type of hypnosis, working with the soul, you're working with your guides, with your clients' guides, to help a soul, an incarnated soul that is experiencing problems, that may be trapped or in a past life, in the womb, or maybe that had traumatic events in this life. What is your motivation? It should be to help that soul. So number one should be love. Number two should be service, be at service of others. When you learn a technique because you just want to make money, or because you're just curious about past life, you like the stories, I want to understand, I want to connect with other beings, I want to connect with beings from other dimensions and other galaxies, I will say, okay, and what are you going to do with that? We are in this planet, we incarnated in this planet to experience through this body, through emotions, and this is what makes our lives so difficult. And not only that, we bring emotions and traumas from previous bodies that we have occupied. We call the past lives. But since our soul doesn't understand time, everything is here with us now, affecting us now. And the mistake that I see in some techniques and some people that practice hypnosis, and I'm not criticizing, because everybody's free to do whatever they want. It's just as an observation, right? They want to look, even clients, even the people that come for a session, they want to look for answers outside of them. They want somebody else to tell them what's wrong with me, what do I have to do, am I doing the right thing, should I move here, should I marry this person? We should be going within for those answers. And there are some questions that should not be asked in a session. Not even your spirit guide is going to show up to tell you what to do. This is a school, and we came here to learn. If you want somebody to tell you what to do, it's like asking your teachers, right? Can you give me the answer for the test? That doesn't make sense. So we need to learn how to guide our clients. If you're learning hypnosis and you just want to specialize in past life regression, let me tell you something. The soul knows where it needs to go in order to heal. Even though you might ask your client to look for a past life, they might end up in a traumatic event in this life. Could be a sad memory, could be a time where they were molested, could be a time where they were raped, could be a time where they had a car accident. And what are you going to do then? If you just want to learn past life regression, you're going to do this much in a session. But if you learn to work with the symptoms, is you understand how to follow the symptom to get to the root cause of that symptom, which is most of the time the traumatic experience. And you have the techniques to work with that. And on top of that, you understand about the soul, you understand about spirituality, you understand how to guide your client. That's what's going to make the difference in your session. And that's what's going to make the difference for your clients. Anyway, I can talk for hours and hours about this. But again, my advice is learn how the soul works. And once you learn how the soul works, you will be able, or the spirit out of the body, soul is an incarnated spirit. Once you understand how the spirit works, you will be able to facilitate your sessions in a better way and guide your clients in a better way. I hope I didn't offend you. My comments, I get very passionate when I talk about these topics. I guess you can tell that, or you can see that. So until next time, thank you for watching. Bye.